two different styles in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs led the league this season in yardage on passes down the field of 20-plus yards, thanks to speedy receivers and Patrick Mahomes' strong arm. On the other side of the ball, the 49ers defense allowed the fewest yards this year on deep passing plays and have been the best at containing big plays down the field. So, Antonio, when you consider the two, who has the edge in that aspect?
Well, I'm giving the edge to Kansas City. I think when you look at it overall, I mean, they had 72 passes over 20 yards this year. They had 92 in 2018, so they toned it down. But you got to think, Patrick Mahomes didn't play a couple games.
Right.
So that number went down.
The yards went up.
The yards, yeah, definitely, and the yards went up. But I mean, you look at it, they completed what, 53% of the passes going downfield. That was 20-plus yards. So to me, when you got the speed on the outside and you can go out and do the things you want to do, you give Patrick Mahomes enough time, he's going to find an open man. Because somebody's going to be open, because nobody can run with those guys.
Yep.
So I'm giving the edge to those guys just for the simple fact that's what they've done. That's what they've done in the last 2 years, and that's what they're capable of because of the speed they have on the outside. And they can put people in different places to create the mismatch. And that's what football is all about, creating mismatches. And if you can't cover Tyreek Hill when he's in the slot, when he can go from one hash to the other side of the numbers, it's over. Big time.
How would you like to wind up with Tyreek in the slot?
Like I told Shannon during the break, I'm glad I'm not playing right now.
I like the honesty.
Yeah, we haven't seen a guy that can accelerate like this. He's a football player that has track speed. Normally, track guys skip their fin, their rail, John Ross type, Ronaldo, Nehemiah, and they're not football players. This guy's a football player with track speed. Skip, I'm going to give the edge to Kansas City for the simple fact is that Mahomes and his arm, and as Crow said, those receivers. We've never seen speed like this. Maybe you got to go back to the old Raiders when they had Sam Grady and they had Mervin Fernandez, Willie Gault, guys that were Olympians, Skip, on the track.
I agree.
That had speed like this here. But they didn't have a quarterback like this. If you look at 2 of the 3 losses that the 49ers suffered, Lamar Jackson and Russell Wilson, what can those two guys do? Extend plays. That's the last thing you want to do with a guy like this is let him extend plays. Now, they got a 4-man front. They don't really, Robert Saleh, the D coordinator for the 49ers, they don't have to blitz much. They can normally generate pressure with 4, drop those 7 back in coverage, and when they play that coverage, they don't let anything over their head.
Okay.
But if you let this kid buy time, like Russell Wilson did, because the 49ers like to beat him twice. I'm not 49ers. Seahawks like to beat him twice. Lamar Jackson can extend plays. This guy can extend plays and can throw the ball over your head. So I'm going to give a slight nod to the Chiefs, but it's all going to be predicated on how successful can that offensive line be. Kansas City don't get the credit that some of these they don't get the credit of the Cowboys. They don't get the credit of the Colts. This is a damn good offensive line, especially at pass protecting. They do a great job of keeping him upright, and when they don't, they let he can find a lane. And now what he's shown, guess what he's put on tape the last 2 weeks? If I run, I'm
going to put quotes on that.
But... okay, you put on tape. I'll walk really fast.
Really fast.
Hey, that's so 7-yard touchdown.
That's on tape. Really the last 2 games, when you take off these games, when you look at the body of work, they're like, hold on, we got to be careful. Because remember, Skip, he had another one, I think, against Titans there, where he ran for a touchdown.
Yep.
So now that's on tape. We got to be cautious of his ability to run the football, not just throw the ball over our head down the field.
So, to your point about Tyreek, I once had to sit and watch a game called Bedlam between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State at Oklahoma. And Bob Stoops, my former head coach, had the audacity to punt the ball at the end of the game to Tyreek Hill, who was back for a punt. It's like the only way they're going to win the game is you're going to punt it to him and let him catch it. And he caught it, and he ran, and he ran, and he ran, and he went track speed all the way home, and they lost. Ball game, Bedlam.
Yep.
That one hurt.
It hurt. And that's the first time I said, that guy is something. I've never seen that. On TV, you can just, it's like a blur. It flies off your TV in your living room where you say, that's fast.
Yes.
So, to your point, Mr. Cromartie, you said, if you give Patrick Mahomes enough time, that's what you prefaced your answer with that. It boils down to this. This, to me, is going to be the 07 season Super Bowl all over again. The first Eli, Tom Brady Super Bowl in which Eli and company pulled off the huge upset at the time and stopped 19-0.
Right.
And why did the Giants pull that off? Because they had a front four, but they actually had 3 pass rushers who allowed same coordinator, right? Spagnuolo allowed him not to blitz. I don't know how they might not have blitzed at all the whole game.
Right.
They just rushed 3 and 4. The fourth guy didn't matter, but it's obviously Michael Strahan, Justin Tuck, OCU Manura.
Right.
You remember them?
Right.
Yes.
And they were getting home consistently. They were bothering Tom Brady on nearly every throw. And Justin Tuck got him twice, and Michael Strahan hit him twice, and OC hit him once, and they all had pretty high tackles.
Right.
So they were disrupting the whole day. That's how they held Tom Brady to 14 points.
But what couldn't Tom do that Mahomes can do? Mahomes can move.
Okay.
They knew Tom Brady was going to be a statue. We don't have to worry about anything. We coming. So even if we run past him, we're fast enough to track him, to turn around and chase him down.
But not only that, when you look at it, Tom Brady don't have the receivers that Patrick Mahomes does too.
Well, he had Randy Moss.
Right.
That's
He had
all.
one weapon.
He had one.
Yeah.
One.
And he had Wes Welker for what it was
Listen,
worth.
but
I
he ain't
know.
got every single guy on that squad that runs 4-3 or better.
All right.
And then he definitely didn't have a tight end like Kelsey.
No.
No, I give you that. But what did he do? What does he do that Patrick doesn't do? He gets rid of it quicker
Right.
than anybody
Yes.
when he has people who
Right.
can separate
Right.
just a little bit.
Because the thing is that Wes Welker was the guy that we can get the ball to him right now. Kansas City's looking to push the ball. They ain't throwing nothing short, Skip. They trying to get everything is 10 yards and more. They trying to get the home. They trying to gut you.
Okay.
They're not trying to nickel and dime you.
Okay, so why did, and we're boiling this whole game down to this, one team led the league in big plays, the other team led the league in stopping big plays,
Yeah,
not allowing.
Okay? San Fran gave up, 10 completions on 51 attempts? That's the only thing. And
You're talking about 10 plus
yes,
yards.
yeah, 20 plus yards. Then you look
That's
at Sherm.
unbelievably
Then you look at Sherm. Sherm was what? Sherm had 9 tries on 20 plus yards.
Okay.
Didn't give up any.
Right.
They gave him two completions because of penalties. He
Which
had
is
two
why
penalties.
Richard Sherman was rated by Pro Football
About
Focus the number
highest
one
corner.
corner in
Right.
football.
Yes.
Right.
So you got that. It looks like they kind of shored up the offside corner. That kid's playing pretty well. They're sound. They're solid. But if they can get home, if they can bother and hem in, Patrick,
Right.
because what I tell you about Tennessee, they went in there and said, let's rush 3. And let's get them all trapped in the middle
Right.
where he's got wide open lanes. And he can choose either way.
And if you rush 3, you definitely can't run up the field. You got to stay even with the guy. You got to stay level.
Okay.
And if you get level with him and you see him step up, now you got to come flat. They were running the Skip on the touchdown run. The dude run slam up the field. He takes himself out. What do you think Mahomes like? Oh,
That's what I
whoa,
said.
there's nothing over there.
There's Harold Landry. He runs 10 yards past him. Where are you going?
But-
you going to run to the locker room? I don't know what
my
you're
thing,
doing.
but this is what I want y'all to think about too. Even with Kansas City, their defense. Yeah, I think since Terrell Suggs has joined their defense, they allow only 17 points a game.
They're better.
They
They're just
play better.
I agree.
But now you add what's the name? Chris Jones. You add him to the mix. That he came back. You saw what he brought to the game.
Yes.
So now you talking about Terrell Suggs, Chris Jones, and those guys up
Frank
front.
Clark.
Frank Clark.
This
and
is why
those guys.
you trade for Frank Clark.
That's
and Honey
why you
Badger.
Honey
as
Badger's
you
been
know,
unbelievable.
Yeah.
He led him in
Hey,
tackles.
listen.
He's a smart player.
they letting Honey Badger do what he do.
Yeah.
He let him roam the field.
Yep.
Yeah.
And let him be the
You were
playmaker.
talking about instincts, nose for the football. I've not seen a better nose.
One of the best plays I saw, Skip, is that against the Texans.
Yep.
He carries one, and he knows they're trying to run him off with
Yeah, I
the
know.
clear route,
And comes off.
and he peels back and takes the dagger.
Yes.
I'm like,
Hey.
dude.
Hey, that's film study.
That is film- yes.
Hey, it's special, but so is this front 5.
Oh, yeah,
These
yeah, yeah.
guys.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just to remind everybody, Nick Bosa was the 2nd overall pick. We know that.
Right.
Was.
But Eric Armstead was the 17th pick in the first
Right,
round.
yeah.
DeForest Buckner was the 7th overall pick. D Ford out of Auburn was the 23rd pick, and Solomon Thomas was the 3rd overall pick.
And Solomon
And he
Thomas
don't
can't
get
even get on the
He
field.
can't get on the field.
That's what I'm saying. But he's the 5th. He's the 5th wheel.
Yes.
And he was the 3rd overall pick.
Yes.
You're
Crazy.
kidding.
That's
Okay.
crazy.
Well, you don't think you can get home some with those guys?
And you see how they built their team, Skip? Front to back. Offensive line, solid. Defensive line, solid.
Front to back.
That's the way we're going to play. We're going to build it out. Offensive line, defensive line, let's go play football. Because if you're going to run the football in this league, you better have an offensive line.
Yeah.
When you think of West Coast, everybody always think of West Coast as finesse. They're a physical team.
Yeah. They're very fit.
When you run the football like they run it, you don't run the football for 280. You don't. I think they were 2nd in the league in rushing, Skip.
Yeah.
Without being physical up front. And when you can rush 4 guys, you whip people.
Definitely.
And that's what they do.
And they have a Richard Sherman who's way better than Darrell Revis ever thought about being. Am I right? Am I right?
There you go.
That's right.
Look at
Hot.
this.
Stir the
That's
pot a
what
little
you
bit
gonna
more.
stir the pot like
What are you doing?
Wow, Skip. I thought we left that
You
from yesterday.
educated me that.
No.
I gotta ask, did you hear any more yesterday?
Yeah.
No, I ain't hear anymore.
Okay.
I
So
won't.
we did leave it. We left it.
Good.
I won't hear anymore, trust me.
Unless Skip brings
Mend
it
that
up.
fence.
All right, Antonio, it's such a pleasure to have you. Thank you for being here. We
Thank you.
appreciate it. We do have to talk about something that happened last night. It was pretty ugly, actually, between K-State and Kansas in that basketball game. We will make sense of the massive brawl next.